We're going to be opening mega good burgers in cities all over the world.
From Hollywood to Hong Kong.
Hong Kong is not a city, it's the name of an ape.
King Kong.
The game with the paddles?
Ping pong.
The sound a doorbell makes.
Ding dong.
What?
Come on! I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude. We're all dudes, hey! I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude. We're all dudes, hey! I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude. We're all dudes, hey! I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude. We're all dudes, hey!
Welcome back to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can't take your order?
Part two. Part two.
Part 2. I'm Adam,
And I am Aaron.
and we're here to take your order of Part 2 of Good Burger. It's a double Good Burger feature. Let's get into it. This is my fault, Dex admits as he walks around Ed's house.
All we had to do was read the contract, but I'm always looking for a quick fix as he knocks over the glass jar of burgers that is on their island.
He says, I can fix that real quick.
He's like, oh, no! He's even, we're getting very meta here of Keenan's character actually realizing that he is always looking for a quick fix, always looking to solve all of his problems at once, and then that, of course, leads him into endless peril.
Yes, it does. Meanwhile, Ed is distracting himself by playing a game, Bunny Smash. He's got this little, Namco, Pac-Man, joystick and these earphones that have, burgers on them. You know, so, again, it's one of those things where it's this is a little, 10 years old, this reference.
Yeah, the Joy-Con's kind of cool, except it isn't, it's an iPad, and then it's not connected to anything.
Yeah, it's just floating there.
Yeah, it's nice, though. It's neat.
He said, Kel says a line here that I think is very Kel, because he says, I'm trying to think about Good Burger. Aw, now I'm thinking about Good Burger. The way he says that, aw, is just the intro to Keenan and Kel just rings in my head.
Yeah, it's, oh, now I'm thinking about Good Burger. Yeah, it's very, very much like catchphrasey Kel line.
Oh, I wish I got a 90. That's the same inflection.
Right.
What is Ed's first plan?
So to get a bunch of random celebrities, get them all together, and have them sing a song about saving Good Burger.
Yeah.
Unfortunately happens, very pandemic-esque style.
Oh, this is a parody of when all the celebrities sang Imagine.
Yes, exactly. from their $10 million homes.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, people are just dying because they don't have access to basic services like healthcare.
Yeah, aggressively tone deaf.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think this is actually a really good bit. I think it's pretty relevant still. It's not too old. I never saw in a major movie someone doing this, and it's also a real clever way of sneaking in a bunch of cameos.
Yeah, it is clever, and I just love it because it does make fun of all the celebrities that did this, and we're all serious about it.
What's fun about the celebrity list is that a lot of them are Good Burger and Keenan and all that specific. I have a list of the celebs.
Go ahead.
Nicole Richie.
Yay!
Zoe Saldana.
Yo!
You don't have to do that for everyone.
Okay.
Andy Samberg. Maya Rudolph. Bowen Yang. Chrissy Teigen. Daryl DMC McDaniels. Shar Jackson, who you might recognize as Monique from the first film. Shaun White. Mikey Day. Danny Tamborelli, who's from all that, Fame, and, he was on Pete and Pete. Yeah, it's the whole thing. Finally, the guy that sang as the weird man in the asylum, George Clinton. Yeah, you see, all the way up his nose.
Why is that the perfect, like SpongeBob in the Super Bowl, performance? And now, Bikini Bottom's own.
The Bubble Bowl.
That's it.
I still think that's how they introduce people on SNL. But what have you. So it's a bunch of these guys just filming a video in their home and on their iPhone clearly and just sending it in. I love the George Clinton one. You get right up his nose. It's real.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's right
it's not very flattering.
Okay, who do you think is the most famous person on this celebrity list here?
Andy Samberg.
Yes, okay. Who's number 2?
Wait, hang on. I take that back. Zoe Saldana. Zoe Saldana's number 1.
You think?
Aaron, how much money has Zoe Saldana... How much money has the movies Zoe Saldana's been made?
I don't really know much of her.
So she was in the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie way back when.
Oh.
She plays Gamora. in the MCU movies.
Oh, I know her.
She plays Natiri in the Avatar movies.
Okay, all right.
So she's kind of
definitely her. And I love her. I love her filmography here. Yeah.
Yeah, she gets all into it. She might be the most paid, like, the actress in the biggest budget movies in, like, the past 1 year. Like, just between Guardians and Avatar 2.
Yeah. I'm embarrassed I didn't know her name, but also it's all right, I think, because I probably will never meet her, and she probably will never hear this. And if she does, please, I'm sorry.
What you're saying is she shouldn't be a guest on our next episode.
I would love to talk to Zoe Saldana about Danya.
I want to talk to Zoe Saldana specifically about Good Burger 2.
I would like to talk to her about her singing "Give Good Burger Back." Not to mention Shaun White, 12-time Olympic champion.
Yeah, no, it's a fun list that they assembled here.
I just love thinking about how they got this list.
Keenan opens up his phone to the address book and sees who's on there. The biggest names. Yo, Zoe! I got a project for you. You got 5 minutes to sing this song?
Yeah, Zoe, I got something quick. Yeah, that George Clinton one is rough. I mean, that George Clinton, I'm looking at his nostrils. George.
Yeah, so their actual plan is to go to the Megacorp building and try and ask them for Good Burger back. Yeah,
which seems pretty good. Mm-hmm. I like it.
They go right there. They have another needle drop, another song as they walk in through the main door. Who's there but 2 security officers. They're fun characters. The one guy's name is Jimothy.
Yes, Jimothy is great, and the building is massive. So it's called Megacorp. And it is it's not just a skyscraper, but it's like also a wide scraper. It's like a whole city block.
Yeah, we didn't mention it, but they're a tech company.
Yeah, right. They're one of these massive corporations, also called Megacorp, right? This is where I really do appreciate the writing, just in terms of creating like a villain.
Oh yeah,
it's a very like unambiguous and also like vague enough to not directly offend anybody, but very obviously. Kind of coming at these like big tech companies who just buy everything.
Yeah, it's a little weird that we're getting into this in like halfway into the movie.
Yes.
The vibe of it is good. This is actually technology replacing, workers and stuff like that. It's very on the money. It's very
current.
Relevant.
Yeah.
Especially with AI and things like that. And that's one of the pros of this movie being made like really turned around in this short time.
Right. And and so we see the sign Mega Good Burger coming soon. They pull up in the Burger Mobile, which is great. And then we meet our Jimothy is his name?
Jimothy, yeah. Jimothy and the other security I don't have the other security guard's name, but she's eating a bag of popcorners, like very visibly, like you can read popcorn, like that's how much of it's on screen.
Yeah, it's a pretty good product placement there.
Yeah, define good. Effective?
Good for popcorners?
I guess the security woman of a villain company endorsing your product is okay.
Right. I mean, it's like she's a hard-working woman. She's taken like a little snack break, trying to get a little joy, sucked a little joy out of life that she can.
You're right. She's a blue-collar hero.
Yeah, and she's just like, what's the best snack that you can have at your break? It's popcorners. Yeah. Is it popcorn? Is it chips? Is it Ritz crackers? It's all of the above. Popcorners.
Her name is Molly Kearney, and the character's name is Alex.
She does a great job in this.
Yeah, they basically go up to Jimothy and like demands, like, we want to go up to the top floor, and talk to who's in charge. And he's like, okay, sure. Wait, you'll need your visitor passes. Like he just lets them in. It's very funny.
Yeah. And by the way, the expression he makes here, that is the real expression security people make at front desks all throughout the city of Philadelphia. I just want to say that is exactly, it's like, what? Okay.
Yeah, very accurate.
And he's just like, and they want to come up and they will not take no for an answer. And then it works, yeah. Yeah,
they go right up to the penthouse and there's a big office. We see Cecil's there and wearing his outfit for I think the rest of the movie, a like gray suit with a yellow turtleneck and a little horizontal stripe of a little what do you call it?
Pocket Square.
Pocket Square, yellow Pocket Square. He and a robot dog, a yellow robot dog, one of those security dogs.
Really scary security dogs from like Black Mirror. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate those dogs with a passion. There used to be like, ooh, what a fun engineering project, and now they're like, mounting turrets on them and other scary things. Like it's
not good.
It's bad.
It's not good.
No.
Yeah, but you can tell this person makes a lot of money because they have a fun shaped desk. And just like Kurt, kind of, right? Didn't Kurt have a fun shaped desk? And they have...
the colors are a lot like Kurt, too.
Right.
Like all that kind of, neon stuff going
and
on
white.
here.
It's a little bit more well-lit than Kurt's office. But, and I'm sure we'll talk more about the comparisons and contrastions in a second.
Well, what are we comparing here, Aaron?
Well, we have to talk about the main person.
The egg chair swivels around, and we meet Kat Boswell, the younger sister of Kurt Boswell.
And it's somebody who is as almost unlikable as Amy Schumer.
So I would not say that. I have nice things actually to say about Jillian Bell, the actress that plays.
Oh, I have nice
Kat.
things to say about Jillian Bell. She did a great job. But the character is this character is not likable. But I guess that's what you want from the villain.
Yes. It's hard with a couple things here. She's introduced halfway through this film.
Yeah, that is probably my biggest concern.
Kurt comes in like the 20-minute mark.
And plays a pivotal role.
Actually, earlier than that. Like he's there at the jump.
Yeah, like Cecil is there, right, to kind of wheel and deal and be a, kind of like dispatch his henchmen and like get the job done, right? Invite Keenan, take him on a ride. And then this other person who was actually masterminding the whole thing shows up. It seems not well, like, I don't know, like it wasn't as developed as it could be. I don't hate her as much as I should.
That villain development has now been split to two characters.
Yeah.
And neither of them have much to do. I want to say that this feels like a symptom of the writer's strike. When we interviewed them, like, days before the strike went into effect, they were like, we're still working on it, touching up the script on papers that you worked on and reviewed in the past, Aaron, for like school and stuff. What part gets the most revisions? The beginning or like the end?
The beginning.
Yeah, the beginning is the one that you go over really a lot to get it really done. So I feel like this section didn't get as much punch up, didn't get as many jokes added, and it's a lot more straightforward because of it. She shows a clip of Kurt's, like a picture of Kurt, like in jail, which I think is funny. It's his mugshot. His mugshot, I don't know if you noticed this, but on the side it says like his height. They have the height on the side. And it says like 5'7". Like I don't know if Kurt was a 5'7".
That's
fella.
funny.
I think he was a short king.
That's funny. Yeah, and it does say 5'7". His hair is like brings him up to like 5'7.5". I like, especially because Kurt was such a pivotal player in the first Good Burger, and worked at Mondo Burger, which was this tech company in a way, trying to like GMO food and manipulate food to make it better than it was originally.
Yeah.
And then she comes in as like, oh, I'm Kurt's like younger sister, who has for 22 years or however long it's been
held a grudge.
Yeah, I don't like that. I like Cecil as like the villain. And he could have been developed into an even more like evil villain.
I kind of like the idea that this hints at of a like crime family.
I get that. I do.
It also like retroactively explains Kurt a little bit. It says, his family came from money, some big tech like enterprise.
Right.
That's where Mondo Burger like originated. But yeah, no, she's very simple in the fact that she's like, I'm here for revenge and to open up the biggest like mega good burgers everywhere. Actually, if you look at the Mega Good Burger logo, it looks like a Mondo Burger one.
Right.
Which is a fun touch. She's also dressed in sharp yellow, gray, and like a lot of horizontal lines across it. I would like to bring this up to you, Aaron. These are contrasting colors, aren't they? Megacorp is yellow and black. And what's Good Burger?
Blue and white.
Yeah, blue and white. Keenan and Kel do this not really funny bits of it's on like Donkey Kong, and then they're like, isn't that city in Tokyo? It's like, no, that's...
Yeah. And you probably have seen it if you watched any of the premiere or like they showed this in a couple late night shows and like as they did with like the super salad clip, and I'm just like, who chooses these like promo clips?
Yeah, maybe they're like the ones that try to get the most people in.
Yeah, I know, but and it is funny like how they go back and forth here. It's really good Keenan and Kel, but the joke's just not that good.
Yeah, it doesn't have that organicness that I usually associate with them.
Yeah,
organic feel. It sounds very, very scripted.
It does, but it's good. I still think, throughout this whole film, and we can review this more later. I don't want to go too in depth now, but it does feel like Kel is still kind of like getting his feet. Like he hasn't acted in a long time.
He's getting the dust off.
Yeah, and like
brushing off the cobwebs.
And you said the thing about like doing retakes. We learned from Kevin and Heath that that's when Kel excels, and they were trying to rush production, and like so that is like the best Kel stuff isn't even in it because it wasn't even done because he didn't knock enough of those cobwebs off in like the first 10 takes of a really funny sketch.
I think that's really true.
Yeah, so that's what this felt like because everybody's like, oh, like Kel's back, Ed's back, but it's like, not yet, not yet. Like he's way funnier than what he is in this movie. He's still like getting comfortable again.
That is largely my vibe at the end of this movie. It's like, okay, we did Good Burger again. Can we please do a new Good Burger?
Yeah.
Like, can we do a fresh one? One that actually doesn't have a shoestring budget.
Isn't in the middle of 2 strikes.
Yeah, isn't in the middle of 2 of the most the biggest strikes in Hollywood history.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, so there's glimmers of that, and just kind of like the aftertaste of that, but it's okay. So let's just keep moving.
Yeah. So we go to the interior of Mega Good Burger. It looks like a model burger. Like all the colors are there and stuff like that. It's very high-tech, futuristic. There's a QR code on the wall that 3,000 people have discovered.
Yes. Okay, and we discovered it like after we watched it the first time we went back and pulled it up. And it's some great bloopers.
Yeah, it's some bloopers. If you want to, this is a great time for you to scan the QR code, take a break, watch some bloopers for the film.
Can you put the link in the description, Adam? Or
Yes, I can. Oh,
should we encourage people to go to make sure you have Paramount Plus and go watch the movie?
It is an unlisted Paramount Plus video, but I don't think our podcast is going to get more views than Good Burger 2.
But it might.
This robot pulls up, and it looks like Ed. It looks like just like Ed, except maybe his hair's a little more shiny. And he says, "It looks like I'm looking in a mirror with my picture taped on it." Which, if you think about it for a second, that's actually really funny.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, it's like Ed except a little bit more oily. That's what this AI looks like.
Cat orders like a Good Burger order from the robots, and this is an Ed that's competent. Instead of saying that'll be $8, he says that'll be $8.
When it shows Cat ordering, it's this like crazy like visual graphic of like a fisheye. It's like it's like an oval with this like grid in the background and like some clip art, like a clip art like Saturn in the top right.
Oh, the Saturn's the Megacorp logo.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's very fun. Yeah,
it's like it's so goofy and not necessary, but also it gives me like Cookie vibes from like Ned's Declassified.
Yes, it does look like that.
like gives me like smart glasses vibe.
There's actually a really cool like tech thing that I'll talk about later. It's a fun order place that you see that like it goes on the conveyor belt with some VFX and as the order comes to the front.
I also like, the other scary thing, which is just very small detail. It's like to pay, he barcode scans her face.
Yeah,
and then that's just like payment accepted. That's
a little messed up.
I'm like, okay, but honestly, I pay with Apple Pay and I use my face for that. So
Aaron, don't do it. Don't give them your face.
They have it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll already buy their computers that break after a year and just keep using them.
They have you so bad, Aaron.
It's terrible. I'm all the way in the ecosystem.
There's a fun bit when the sauce squirts on it. Ed says, "They got my sauce," and Dex says, "I know, it's my fault." like really quickly. She calls it animatronics, which isn't really a good pun or a joke or anything like that. Then they go to the control room, which has my favorite actress of the whole picture in it. Her name is Liza Koshy. She's the technician at Megacorp. And she just does a really good job acting. in the whole film. Like whenever she has a line.
Yeah, she does great. And Kat is saying as this like robot employee that looks like a human, which is even scarier than just like a robot or a screen, which is basically
Yes.
what McDonald's is now. She goes, picture it, no more annoying employees, right? With their annoying problems like getting sick or asking for a raise or I need to go to the bathroom. Too bad, not on my dime. You poo on your own time, which is like a little poo joke, but also like one of the great joys of working for like a bad company is that you get paid to poo. Which is the greatest.
I will respect that. That's a good turnaround that she has.
Yes.
Good wordplay.
And then Keenan goes, 0 employees, maximum profits. I mean, it is. It's a really good and like small like scale analysis of like AI and the threats of AI, especially on like fast food workers.
It's also a good advancement of the ideas from the first film, where it was like a kind of a big chain comes along to wipe out the little guy.
Right. We've talked to Kevin and Heath. This is so them. Like they're very insightful guys who also like want to make light of like challenging things. And yeah, like this is their plot device and it's really good and I wish they were there to like fine tune it. You know, I wish they were there to like watch it unfold because the set's really like impressive. The Kel like idea is good, but like he could have said some really funny things. That AI could have said some really funny things.
Get that edge, that cutting edge, even like sharper.
Yeah, right. It was this, and this kind of like dragged on a little bit, but yeah. Then we go eventually to the control room.
So in the control room, they show off all the locations where the Mega Good Burgers are. We see like a video of Robot Ed like talking up the like in the accent. So it's like in Dallas, in London.
Yeah. Yee-hoo! Welcome to Make a Good Burger.
In Madrid, Spain. You don't have to say the Spain part. Tokyo. Like, and it's little fun little bits. It's again, the energy is very on par.
I have to say, this is an absolutely insane way to launch a business. Like, let's just open up one store in the largest cities on the planet.
And it started with them first closing. First thing they did is close the main store where all the money comes in.
Right, close the main store that's like in like, you know, a big American city. I mean, just to think about like opening these locations like internationally in every time zone.
Dex says, this is pretty incredible. I mean, you'll never get away with this.
Yeah.
Like he's like impressed.
Yeah. He's very impressed at the bad guys here.
And they're going to send them away in a self-driving delivery car. Ed's like, oh, actually, we came here in our own car. He's like, oh, you mean this one? And they show the Good Burger Mobile. And he's like, oh yeah, that's my whip. And the car gets blown up and burnt and like destroyed.
This one really hurt me.
It did.
Yeah, this one hurt. I'm like, that is such a cool piece of memorabilia. But as we learned in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade,
it's not really destroyed.
It's not really destroyed.
It's a bunch of VFX. No, I have been this sad since the submarine gets destroyed at the 15-minute mark of Atlantis, the Lost Empire. You remember that animated film?
I don't recall. Maybe I do.
It was a great set. It was a great toy. Our cousin had it. It was, and I recall it being awesome. And then when I saw the movie, it's like it gets blown up in like 15 minutes.
Oh.
It's like wow, that sucks.
That is not fun.
We had 3 scenes with the new Burger Mobile, and it's out of here.
Yeah, I know.
It's so sad.
Bad. Oh, then she goes, maybe you should have used Burn No More.
Oh, and then she really burns Keenan on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
He should have used some Burn No More so that he wouldn't have felt that.
And then we just go into like a self-driving like BMW that has like the neon stripe of Megacorp, which, you know, I do like the branding here.
Yeah.
Like they go like just the set design does a great job with like all the decals, the colors, the outfits.
It's all great.
Everything is very like expertly done. Like it really is amazing.
It's eye candy. It's real pleasing.
Yeah. Everything. It's beautiful.
I thought this was an amazing like exchange. This might be my favorite one because the dialogue sounds so authentic to Keenan and Kel. Because Ed's like pushing a button. He says, "This button makes the windows go up and down." And Keenan says, "All cars can do that, not cars that don't have windows."
That is very Keenan and Kel, yes.
Yeah. So as they're driving away, they're like, we gotta do something. And Kat calls them and says, this is gonna be your final ride. And Dex says, you mean the last one we'll ever take in this particular vehicle, or the last one we'll ever take because something bad's about to happen to us? She's like, the second one. He's like, oh, no.
I like how like she says that she comes on the call, she says who she is, and they like don't know who she is. They're like, oh yeah. She's like, I'm the new owner. They're like, oh. And yeah, this is interesting because then it actually just builds on this whole technology idea. They're in a self-driving car, and then it starts to be, controlled by somebody who's evil and plans on getting them into an accident.
Ed and Dex in a self-driving car is a very good 2023 bit.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, very modern. It's very with the times. It's good. We see like neat, funny things that happen.
And we have another car chase, which we've kind of been missing a little bit from this movie.
And in the first movie, they get in a car chase, featuring the ice cream truck for Obese Brothers Farms,
which we see.
We drive right past that, blink and you miss it.
It is a great cameo there. Easter egg, I guess you'd say.
As they drive uncontrollably, Ed sings, "I'm gonna die, he's gonna die, she's gonna die, 'cause we're all gonna die."
That's some good like death philosophy of death stuff right there.
Oh yeah, that we're all just gonna die.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. Very realist philosophy. And we should also mention that Dex jumps behind the wheel.
He gets behind the wheel. He's like, "We gotta find a park," and Ed's like, "This isn't time for a picnic."
Yeah, I do like that he just knows what he needs to do. Well, I do want to say there's just like this really weird like zoom in on this pug that's in a stroller.
I don't know why they did that either. Is that a famous pug? Is that like a pug cameo?
Maybe. Is it? Wait, hold on. So I'm watching it really quick. They're about to crash into the wall after the pug. Mm-hmm. And then there's like writing on the wall, and it says Demented Hills Asylum.
What?
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh yeah.
I missed that.
Oh yeah. I'm taking a screenshot of it, Adam.
Oh, thank you. That is a good catch. I literally saw that. I'm like, should I go back and see what that is? Nah.
Okay, yeah. So it's a brick wall that has writing on it, and it says Demented Hills Asylum, restricting the distorted since 1972. It just looks like a brewery. Unfortunately, it does not look anything like the one in the first one.
No, it doesn't. So they drive over a basketball field. A basketball court.
I love when you misname a sports thing.
It's not slam ball. I don't care. They drive over basketball courts. Probably referencing the same one they did in the first movie. That Ed dunks a baby into, and they start doing donuts in the field. Dex says, "We just have to wait till it runs out of battery," and Ed says, "This power thingy's on F for fairly empty." So they start shouting, and then it's like nighttime. They're sleeping as it still goes around in circles, and then they wake up and start shouting again.
It's pretty good cut from like day to night.
Yeah. And then as they get out of the car, Dex wants to throw up, and Ed, what he does is he's like, "Ooh, a park," and he runs over to it, and he's like, "I'm getting on the spinny thing," and he starts spinning on it, and Dex is just like, "After all that, you're gonna keep spinning."
But now we're walking down the street.
It's just fun. It's like a little food truck that they pass. And...
Yeah, Taco-fied.
Yeah.
Adam, that is Taco-fied, world cuisine in a tortilla, a real food truck based in Providence, Rhode Island.
Oh, hey. Another product placement.
Yeah, but this one I like because it's a small local business that they probably actually ate at, and it was probably parked near production, and they're like, "Hey, why don't we just walk by here later tonight?"
That's awesome, actually.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what happened.
Taco-fied.
Yeah. I bet it's pretty good. Yeah, you can see the owner in it probably.
Yeah, it's probably him.
Yep. Very cool.
Nice. Very fun.
It's a bright red truck, everybody. If you're in Providence, Rhode Island, go get some Taco-fied.
I'll put their website in the comments.
Sweet.
Ed starts speculating on other jobs he could have since Good Burger's out of business. It is a weird scene because they all of a sudden do these Family Guy style cutaways. He imagines himself as a heart surgeon. Oh, that's not ketchup. He's a world famous opera singer.
Yeah, it's him singing opera with his Ed 2 on the piano.
He's singing "I'm a dude, she's a dude," like in opera way. And the funny joke is that he can't stop the high note. He's hitting the high note and he's starting to choke on it.
Yeah, his son is looking at at his watch. And there's Al Roker.
Yes. Al Roker is a weatherman.
A very famous weatherman.
He's a weather presenter, television personality, and author too. Ooh. And
then it's Fry Foon, a Burger NATO.
Shake Tsunami.
Yeah, Shakeanami.
I like this implication here, is that Ed would make a bad weatherman because a bunch of fast food related natural disasters would occur while he's on watch.
It's like we just step into his imagination, and it's such a beautiful thing. The next one is like really cool. I like this one.
I could be a movie star.
In a world of fast food chaos, two dudes set out to cure the world's munchies. In DoorDash Dudes 2, A Time to Deliver.
And yeah, that's the real DoorDash logo because that's another ad.
Yes, and it was a cool one.
I am glad that they're in this picture, and I think that's a creative way to use them. That's the best I will say to an advertisement in this film.
And I will say that the church that Kel is so obviously singing opera in his one day dream is in the background of this DoorDash advertisement.
Oh. You were like traveling through his like dreamscape here.
Yeah, exactly. It's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy about it.
So he's upset by this, and he insists that Dex has to get him his job back. And they have a real heart-to-heart sitting on this park bench. Talk about their feelings. They say like their family. You know, it feels like, you know, Keenan and Kel talking to each other. It's nice. Next scene, we are back at the Ed house, and the twins are snacking on some Doritos, and everyone's excited because Ed told them that they're getting their jobs back, but that's not the case.
Right, and that's what Dex told Ed to tell everybody to get them there, which is just horrible thing to do to your employees who are no longer employed.
Aaron, what is Dex wearing here?
Dex is wearing a green T-shirt, gold chain, and a blue hoodie, a blue jacket. I mean,
I think it's a yellow shirt.
Yes. What did I say?
Green.
It's late. I blended the colors together in my mind.
Well,
it's a yellow T-shirt, a blue sweat jacket.
I pointed out because he spends a lot of the first movie in that like yellow Adidas shirt with his gold chain. It's a real throwback to that outfit. It's a classic outfit. Ed too is so upset to learn this. He says, "I'm gonna go home," and he walks out the door, then walks in because this is his home.
Yeah. Again, it's like this is where we just like the jokes don't really start. They start not landing at all.
Yeah, they're too busy with the plots. This happened in the first Good Burger too. I think that the third act suffers because they're like, all right, we gotta deal with the plot stuff. Stop making jokes, everybody.
Ed 2 does try a little too hard to sound just like Ed. You could see it in his throat muscles. It's like, Mom, I'm home. It's like, okay.
The joke would be better if he wasn't just Ed. Like, if there was something different about him.
Yeah.
Or if he was a girl.
Right.
Some other bits.
And then this thing that comes up next is one of my favorite parts.
Yeah. Ed stands up to give an inspirational speech.
Says, I have something to say. He gets on the coffee table.
We can't give up. And then inspirational music is playing, and you go to like everyone's faces as if they're listening to him. But Dex is like confused. It's like he's not saying anything.
And everyone's just looking at him like smiling. And then he starts looking at them like, you know.
No, everyone's like, yeah, we can't give up. We're a family. We're not going down without a fight.
It's just the greatest inspirational speech. It's like people will line up behind this man. And this is a great Ed leader moment. Like I love Ed like just being like himself in this leadership role. He's like if I was teaching a leadership course in college right now, I would use this scene. I'm like, clip. You need to know the people you're leading. You need to like be true to yourself. Like
it's funny. When I was in high school, I recall sophomore year there was an assignment that we had that was like basically recap an inspirational scene that happens in a movie. And I would love to do this.
Yes, exactly. Right. This is a great like assignment moment.
Yeah. The crew looks into Ed's eyes and they feel inspired by him.
Right. And then Mia goes, Dex, what's the plan? It's like, okay, now you're immediately delegating tasks. Like, Ed's just like, we can't give up. And everybody agrees. And then it's like, okay, now let's scheme.
Their scheme involves basically two plans, which is to use Ed as a distraction to get into Megacorp. He's going to be described as the robots. And they're going to pretend to be a news crew covering him. But secretly go to the control room, get it ready for Mia to get in there and do her thing.
Right. We just need to talk about this, Adam, because this is, and I said the jokes don't land, but there's a couple that do land, and this one does, right? So like they are trying to get in, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we go to the Megacorp headquarters. They're doing press interviews of Kat. They're like, there's a lot of people, hustle and bustle. It's opening day, premiere.
Oh yeah.
And then they show up and this is so funny.
Keenan looks straight out like his SNL bit.
Yeah.
That he's doing. He's got an orange like jacket on over his his outfit, which is a white shirt, blue plaid overshirt, whatever you call it.
Yep.
And over that is a orange jacket. And he's got this big gray mustache.
The gray mustache is hilarious. They have Ed, and he's just like frozen.
Yeah, he's acting like a robot in a box, and these bring them in. Mia's with them. Mr. Jensen is like a news reporter, and the twins are like his camera crew.
Yeah. It's really funny. And he goes like, "Oh, it looks real, it feels real, they even smell real."
Yeah, that's what Jimothy says, and lets them in. But he says that the press has to go into the press entrance, so they get separated immediately. As they go in,
Keenan gets them in because they're like, the guy says, "I'm going to need to see some ID." And Keenan goes, ID? Mega Good Burger is opening in less than an hour. And he like puts on this sense of urgency.
he gets them in.
Yeah, I like it. I like this scene. It's a great scene.
Unfortunately, his acting was so good it convinced Alex, the security guard, to take the ad robot directly to where he's set up. Meanwhile, they need a distraction to break in from the press area. So what does Ed 2 and Ruth do?
They do a musical dance number in which they rip their clothes off and reveal a psychedelic undergarments. Not really undergarments. They're just like
leotard and dance clothes, you know.
And they start dancing to Fireball.
They gather the attention of the whole crowd, including the guys guarding the door, in a callback to the Demented Hills scene. Where
This is very much more of the Demented Hills moment. Yes. And it's Ed 2, young strapping gentleman, and Ruth, a very older woman.
In that Kevin and Heath classic duo. This is she's like an Ethel Quagmire at this moment.
Adam, you would have fit in great as an extra in
thank you.
One of anywhere here. I
would love to watch this and see the young lady with a gray wig be tossed around. They sneak in. They have Ed like set up at the counter, and Kat comes in to test him out to make sure everything's good.
Right.
And this is where my least favorite joke of the film happens.
Dex is just standing there like with a screwdriver. Alex, the security guard, is like getting distracted.
The security woman leaves, and he's like, "That was a close one. I had to fart the whole time." And then Kat comes in, and they hide behind the counter, and Ed farts. And that's the joke.
That's the joke. It's Adam. Adam is not a fart fan, everybody. I hope you'll... But then again, like, neither are Keenan and Kel. Like, that's just not ever the kind of humor.
Aaron, we watched all of Keenan and Kel.
Yeah,
we watched
every episode.
Good Burger. We've seen all this stuff before. They never like resorted to this kind of joke.
This is where it's like, okay, I have low expectations for the next 20 minutes. Kel does not make fart jokes because he's funnier than that. But because there weren't writers on stage, there weren't people who were like kind of like pushing the envelope of what funny could be in this moment.
It feels almost like mandated.
Yeah,
right. It feels like almost like an executive said, there has to be a fart movie in a Nickelodeon film in this day and age.
Yeah, exactly. I was so stressed. It felt like just misplaced.
It does not feel like Keenan and Kel to me. So, and it feels very weird to get worked up over something as stupid as that.
I agree. While this is happening and Kat is like about to place the order and the fart joke is about to happen, the rest of the crew who snuck in, the two twins.
Yeah, and Mr. Jensen.
They go to the control room.
Great scene, largely because it features Eliza in this capacity.
Yes, and so we basically like have Mr. Jensen puts on like a hazmat suit with like yellow goggles, has this like radioactive green fluid, and just walks into the control room.
And he drops it, just immediately drops it.
Here's the radioactive material you ordered.
He drops it, and they're like, "We didn't order that. What are you doing?"
Eliza's like, "That looks dangerous. We didn't ask for that. Get that out of here."
Drops it. One of the twins comes in, and like she immediately goes and touches it, gets it all over her hands, walks out screen, and then suddenly, as hinted at before with their makeup vlog, the other twin shows up with like face peeling, like something's terrible has happened.
Yeah. It is like icky, really horrible to look at.
Yeah, and the controls people are just like, "Oh no!"
They're like, no, absolutely not. I don't know what just happened, but no.
And they run away.
Yeah, and yes, they've successfully taken over the control room.
Yeah, it's a great plan.
And now the plan is for Mia to go to the control room and override it because she's a hacker.
Yes. But first, the fart scene. And it's ruined. And they run away.
First, Alex, the security guard, sits back down at her post, and then they like call her back up because like Keenan and Dex and Ed and Mia are now like running away from the goons. Yeah, that's the camera angle close up of Dex's face, and it goes, "What do we do? What do I do? What do I do? I don't know what to do." And it's like super close up. He's clearly holding like the camera they're using to film this. This is a nice camera, and it shouldn't be this close to his face. And he's just like, "Give me that."
His face is like the whole like frame.
It's really good. It's really like just fun. It brings you right into the scene.
And you see all three of them like they get a moment like this. And what Ed does to fight the goons is he grabs a bunch of butter, and throws it onto the floor.
Not a bunch though. He grabs like a little bit, and then it just like splatters some like small amounts of butter. And then he like laughs like scarily and like goes into the hallway.
And the goons start slipping on it.
Yes, the goons are slipping. Okay, they run into this like nice lobby place. Keenan takes his jacket off. Mia trips. It's like a whole chase scene that is not super exciting.
Yeah, Mia's like also stepped on the butter and takes off her shoes to like because it's slowing her down. She goes downstairs while this security guard chases her down there. She hides in a room that turns out to be the potato room.
Yes, there's a nice sign that says potato room.
Yes.
She secures the door with a broom handle. Ed and Dex continue to make their way down to the control room. There's a bad joke about...
That isn't the control room, that's just a sign.
Yeah.
And there's a really just fun, like, almost like Die Hard-esque, like, banter between Dex and Mia on like the walkie-talkie. Like he's like, "You always were the quickest kid on the playground."
yeah. That's exactly right. Good catch there. That's exactly the style that this is going for.
Thanks. Well, she puts her Converse shoes back on, but the laces get stuck in the machine, and then she's lying down and her hair gets stuck. And suddenly the machine gets turned on. It's like a press that immediately turns potatoes into fries.
Right, and it's like kids don't wear shoelaces anymore. You're gonna like accidentally fall onto the potato rack and get smushed. First off, I'm really upset about like just how stuck she gets on this like conveyor belt of that like slices potatoes.
Yeah, she gets incredibly stuck.
Like it's like a little shoelace and like a couple pieces of her hair get stuck, and it's like she's immobile.
But she's giving them directions on what to do. Get rid of all the files that have /energy in the name. And we see a screen, Aaron. The screen that Dex hacks into is like corner to corner with like Easter eggs. I texted you some pictures of it.
Mr. Meaty?
Shout out to another Nickelodeon fast food program. One of the files is called Spatch.
Spatch? Yes.
Triamethol.doc.
Oh, that's funny.
Orange soda.
Yeah, .png.
Yeah. Strawberry Jacuzzi's one of them. Tubaphone.dwg.
Tubaphone.
Tubaphone, yeah. There's also references to powdered toast.doc. That was a Ren and Stimpy like character, Powdered Toast Man. And there was a Rocko's Modern Life episode about a famous episode called Wacky Deli. There's also a file that says wackydeli.doc. So it's really neat, right?
That is cool. I like that a lot.
Mia's stuck. Dex has to run and help her. And he tells Ed to, like, he gives him the instructions. All right, delete everything that's a /energy. He runs to the potato room and grabs the tray and heroically leaps up and guards with the tray to block it from crushing Mia.
She's like, "How did you know it wasn't going to crush you?" And I didn't.
It's a cute little scene. He kind of shows he's a good uncle.
It's a real Dex hero moment. Like, he does something pretty heroic. And then, Kat shows up, and she's like, "Oh, you guys are trying to ruin everything."
The goons show up. One's like struggling to walk, and he's like, "Help me help you." Kat, has cornered them all. They find out that the control room's unoccupied, so they all run there.
Well, what I don't like is, like, they're like, okay, so all the control room people are there, and there's Kat. And there's like, "There's been a breach in the control room." And he's like, "To our defense, we were tricked." He's like trying to like rationalize his way out of it. It's like, well, just why is nobody just up there in the room? I don't know. The security detail in this massive building is like 3 people who are mostly incompetent. And
there's 2 guys at the front desk. And one of them lets anyone in. Like, that's it.
It's insane.
Kat drops another reference line, which she says, "We go live in 5 minutes all around the world. 5 minutes, 5 minutes." That's what Kevin, the stage manager, would say and all that. Kevin, played by Kevin Coppola.
Oh.
Yeah, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Like, that was his joke. That was his, like, one line that he would say.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So, fun reference. They run there. They go to the control room. Ed is playing Bunny Smash. And everyone's like, "Oh, no, what did you do, Ed? You messed up. You messed up, Ed. You didn't do what you're supposed to." But we know Ed. He did what he was supposed to, and more, and better.
Yep. And so what happened, Adam? What did Ed do here?
He programmed the robots to go all wackadoo, all crazy, and mess things up, which is way more effective than it just not working and the power being turned off.
Right. And he has this, little thing, this classic, like, Ed moment, classic Kel moment, really, where he, in perfect clarity, explains exactly what he did and why he did it.
Yep.
He's like, yeah, I figured that just stopping everything would just delay the inevitable of it opening and being successful. So I wanted it to,
It's the joke from the first movie.
Right. I wanted it to go completely wrong because I wanted to save Good Burger.
That's what happens. Things go completely wrong. Kat does her order thing, but the Ed robot throws the food in her face. Suddenly, the topping droppers become cannons and start firing everywhere.
Topping droppers.
We see all around the world how the Ed robots are misbehaving. In Texas, you see it launch a burger directly at a guy's cowboy hats.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, so it's everything goes wrong. Kat gets lifted up by her robot and sprayed with oodles of ketchup and mustard.
It is exciting, and it gets a little bit old after a couple minutes or a couple moments, but it is fun to watch them make a mess.
This part of the first movie, I never like, yeah, let's go. It's for the kiddies. And I guess this is an equivalence of that.
I do like how Ed's eyes turn red, like the robot Ed's eyes turn red.
And he starts shooting lasers out of them.
Yeah, and
yeah, that's pretty neat.
It's very cool. But yeah, it's madness. This is the food fight that
Yeah.
But it's because it's a robot food fight, it's a little less
not as interesting.
It's not as interesting. But it's certainly a fun to make a mess.
Everyone in the control room quits, and Cecil's the last one, and he says "I quits," and he turns and runs away, and you hear an 80-yard line, recorded later line where he says like you guys can take Good Burger back. There's a similar one at the end of Ed explaining everything. Like, he walks off screen and you hear him say, "Now let's go reopen Good Burger." Like the 80-yard lines are usually added to make the flow of editing better.
Right.
But they're often very obvious, and it kind of speaks to a lazier product.
This whole last day thing must have been hard to capture. You have people running around in the background. You have a mess being made. You only have a few camera angles. Yeah, it was definitely a lot to pull off for a big final day, but it was also probably pretty fun to do, and they thought it was going to play really good, and it ended up just being
It finally ends with the final scene in Good Burger proper. And like I've been saying about the whole movie, this is they took the ending of the first movie and they said, "All right, let's do a couple more bits in here." And it just, that victorious energy that you end on, it just keeps getting stretched further and further and further. It's a little long in the tooth.
Yeah, and I mean, there is a nice moment of after, at Mega Good Corp where they're all walking together and it's very successful energy playing. Everybody's happy and all that.
Mr. Jensen finally works up the courage to ask Mia out. Good for him. They go in and they're yeah, robots will never replace people. And a famous streamer named Kai is there. He's like, "Hey dude, I don't want ice in this." And Ed just literally reaches into his cup, takes out ice.
With his hand.
In a trailer scene. That doesn't belong in this section of the movie.
Right.
There's an order being made right now, and it's a Good Burger, and can I get an apology? Dex looks over, and it is his sister.
Who is played by...
Leslie Jones.
Yes, very famous Leslie Jones, who does a great job in this scene.
Yeah, SNL alum. Leslie Jones clearly works with Keenan a lot. I think she does a pretty solid job here.
She does a good job, yeah.
I don't believe her as Mia's mother or as Dex's sister, but she does a good job.
Yeah. She is great in this role. Yes, Mia like comes up and gives her a hug, and it's just like, anyway.
And what she does is she like lists the giant order because she's like, I'm gonna eat here for free though.
Yeah, forever.
Forever. She says, thank you for what you did. Family is more important than money. But I'm not going to give you any more money, basically.
Yeah, which is a smart move on her part.
A nice, wholesome note to end on. And then Ed 2 drives a brand new version of the Burgermobile into the building, ending the movie.
And yeah, that's the movie ends with a car being driven through Good Burger, which I don't love.
It feels bad. I feel like that was written before they decided they wanted to destroy the car. So they added like a line, oh, it's the new one's back. And it just, you take a lot of the shine off it by repairing all that.
Yeah, got the new Burgermobile. Now I just need to learn how to drive. It's like,
Ed, what do you have to say about this? And he says his line, and the movie ends. I got a couple notes about the credits.
Okay.
The music of the credits starts off with a remixed version of We're All Dudes, sung by Kel. Awesome.
It is very cool, because he actually does produce some music.
You see footage, like, kind of blooper, fun footage in the credits here.
Yeah. It's like security guards are dancing and singing.
Yeah. Basically, every member of the cast at some point is dancing and singing along with We're All Dudes. It's great. The second song of the credits is the actual version of the sad celebrity song that they sing. They made it like an official version of it, and that's what in there.
Okay, that's cool.
But there are actual movie clips in here, technically, I think.
Right. Yeah, the first one is Ed and Dex are sitting down talking about permanent ice. I like how it's called Permanent Ice and not Forever Ice, which would actually be a better name.
I like the Pokemon name of Never Melt Ice myself.
Melt Ice.
But Ed too, like it hops up from the booth behind him. He's like, "I made it real."
Yeah. Ed too just like made it.
Then there's a scene of them on the phone with Mark Cuban, like pitching it to him.
I like this one. Permanent Ice. This is the greatest product ever. I'll give you $5 million for 5%. Which is, what about $10 million for 0%? Dex says.
And Mark Cuban's like, deal. So
it's so funny.
Dex got $10 million.
$10 million for 0%. And the whole Good Burger staff is going crazy. Which is like, this happened in the credits, right? So I'm wondering, it's like...
Is this real?
Yeah, is that like a plot point that's going to come back? I really hope not.
Because another scene in the credits is that Ed's in a car and gets like a video call from, was it Cindy and Mindy? And they're like, can our sister Lindy work here too? And it reveals that there's a third one. They're triplets, not twins. And Ed's head blows up upon learning this. So, what is this? What's happening here? How legit is this? What's real?
It's really hard to tell.
And what's the final scene of the credits?
So, the final scene of the credits is Ed in the Burgermobile. There's a lot of great moments in these credits, and they are worth watching through and just enjoying for all the cast members and definitely some writers and other people. But then it's Ed in the Good Burgermobile. Part 3, we're going to space. Which, if you remember...
In our Good Burger 2 ideas pitch, we had it like it's a Good Burger being delivered to like astronauts on the moon. I think it's I think it's a good way to start a third movie. I think it's
we
really good.
Started that review. It's like, okay, here's how I think Good Burger 2 should start. It's like Ed is a spokesperson. He's like a famous star. He's making commercials, and it starts with him delivering Good Burger to the moon. And then it's like cut. And then he goes off stage. That's my pitch to start the movie. And then he's like, we're going to space. So I really wonder if Kel, if you listen to this whole thing, send us an email at KeenanKelPodcast@gmail.com. We would love to have you on to talk to anybody involved in Good Burger 2.
And we have a couple people in Good Burger 2 that want to talk to us.
Absolutely. Let's go. So Adam, let's break this down a little bit before we wrap up.
Aaron, what are your thoughts on Good Burger 2?
Okay. This was a fun movie. Mm-hmm. It was set up incredibly well in the first 25 minutes of the film. Great job pulling in all the things that people wanted to see. All of the important kind of key elements of Good Burger that we're going to, people are asking after 26 years, how are you ever going to reestablish the world? And they did a great job of it. I really was just not a fan of the villain. I like the concept behind it. I like the idea of like the technology and the whole thing, but the villain development was really poor. Should have stuck with either one or had both introduced earlier on. Kind of like, some of the side characters also weren't that that funny. Not that they weren't funny, but their lines weren't that like great. Like the other Good Burger employees. Like I had some rolling on the floor laughing moments in Good Burger from like Spatch.
Yeah.
There's no Spatch really. It's just kind of like Mr. Jensen and Mia, who like don't make me laugh ever.
I think that sums it up well. There's room for improvement on the first Good Burger. That was our big points of the Good Burger 2 predictions. And I think that on some fronts they improve, on some fronts they don't.
Right.
Crew members at Good Burger are equal to, if not less than.
Yeah.
Actually, based off what I've said in this review, I'd say less than, which is a shame because I think they got some fun kids, some good actors that do a decent job. The jokes aren't good. It's Ed again. There's 2 of them. He's a boy. Like that's it. She's old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that the crew could use some polish. A lot of the pieces I think they did really, really well, and other ones not so much. The first viewing, that second half like kind of really sinks it.
It was dragging, and that's not good. That's really not good for a film, especially a film that you're like at home at. Because if it's dragging, it's like you just go on your phone and then you miss things, and then you'll just disengage. It really has to it's a hard thing for streaming, movies on streaming platforms. You have to like actually maintain people's attention the whole time. And to do that, you gotta really do some fine tuning and some polishing, and it just like because of this unique situation of when it was made, it wasn't really possible.
Correct. Yeah, because of the circumstances, that extra layer of polish isn't there. This doesn't feel like a movie that is 26 years in the making. It feels like a movie that was 1 year in the making. Like, these are funny people. Jillian Bell, who plays Katz, she's in one of my favorite comedies of all time, 22 Jump Street. She plays like a really like a deadpan character, and like every line that she says is a really good laugh. And she's like an SNL writer, and like I've seen her in work before.
She's written so like just boringly here.
The most basic villain character, and it's like
she like does like a mocking line. It's like, well, what are you gonna do about it?
I think fundamentally basing her character off of a one-dimensional villain like Kurt's. It's very hard for her to do anything. It's like, all right, I have to be Kurt's sister. Kurt already had no character.
Right.
So now you're even less character than that.
If it's a crime family, give me some of that. Give me some things to hold on to.
If there is a Good Burger 3 and we do a prediction one, something I want to talk about is how, okay, now that we've seen this, go all in. I want to see the whole Boswell family. I want their parents to be the next villains, and
I want it to be actually they hate Ed. And they've hated him for so long. They have
they send ninjas against him.
Yeah. I want to talk about the whole product placement and corporatism thing. But what are your impressions of the movie? That's my general impression. It was fun and it did its job, but also didn't exceed expectations.
I think that's a good tag on it. It's a very 2023 movie, like I said. It is very much a symptom of both the writers and the actors' strike. I think that this is a movie that has a little bit going on under the hood, and I wanna explore that for a moment here. But as a whole, I like the cameos. I wish they were longer and better incorporated. I wish they had got an actual celebrity in the middle there, and the Megacorp stuff was funnier and a little more refined. But all those things I think I can point to. This movie was made very quickly at a bad time in history,
right?
For Hollywood,
right?
Period. The end,
right?
Like that. I'm happy with the movie that we got. I would call it on a same par as the first movie.
I think it's a watchable movie that is family friendly. I think Kevin and Heath did a good job writing.
The ideal audience is millennials that have young kids now. If you remember Kenan and Kel, and maybe you haven't even seen the first movie in a while, watch this. It'll remind you of better times, and you'll have a fun outing.
It's fairly low stakes, and it's a sequel too. Very difficult for a sequel to follow up a great classic movie like Good Burger.
In our predictions video, I said I don't want this to be a meta movie. I want this to be another Dex and Ed adventure. And while it wasn't a meta movie, it was a very much the same Dex and Ed adventure.
It was the same thing.
Yeah. It's one of those sequels that follows the same beats. And some people like them because they're nostalgic and it reminds them of a movie that they love. Other people think that they want to see more creative grounds. This movie was good enough that I would say give them another one. Let's see what they can do. If they just do the same plot a third time, I would not recommend it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see something out of the box. Now, I understand with the sequel after this much time, you need to get people, you need to give people what they want. It's a refresher, right? Exactly.
There's two things that I was hinting at across this, and I feel bad that I made it last so long, so that 3 hours in, now I have to deliver the punchline.
If they're Fantas, they'll get all the flavors.
I think that Dex's outfits reflect his current mood and intentions. Yellow is the color of Megacorp, right?
Uh-huh.
It's the look of corporate greed.
Okay, I like that.
Their outfits are all, I mentioned this a couple times, horizontal. That's Cecil's haircuts, got the horizontal lines. Their looks are all very, which is a good contrast to Good Burger's vertical lines. And who wears plaid throughout this whole movie? Dexter. What is plaid but the intersection of vertical and horizontal ideas? Blue represents Good Burger. Yes.
Okay.
Yellow represents Megacorp. I feel like you're not seeing what I'm seeing.
I am, but I'm also looking through at different clips of the movie, and he does wear solid colors sometimes, and he wears like purples, and then he's in the Good Burger uniform for like a good bit of time.
Yes, I do understand this.
I think it's smart, and then Mr. Jensen at the end is wearing plaid, blue and yellow.
I'm talking about just Dex. Just look at what he's wearing.
The security guards are wearing plaid.
Okay.
I don't. Okay, so I like it, and I'm not saying it's not right.
Honestly, this was not super well thought out. Keenan might just like plaid. It's his favorite color, as we established.
I think he's wearing plaid and not wearing plaid about an equal amount of frames.
Aaron, I'm just gonna send you a text right now. Okay.
Okay.
I want you to look at this
I
picture.
do think the idea of him wearing plaid and striving for even when she's explaining Mondo Burger's plan, he's like, wow, that's a really good business plan. Like that's super smart. I'm really jealous I didn't come up with it. It's kind of like what he's hinting at.
Yeah, Aaron, I have a much better theory to talk to you about because I can't cross that one to the finish line. Maybe in a future episode.
Maybe.
But take a look at that picture that I have. It's Dex at the top at the beginning of this adventure. What's he wearing?
He's wearing plaid shirt with the blue blazer.
The blue blazer, right?
Yes. And the house is burning down in the background.
That blue blazer represents this. I've sent you a second picture.
This is the photo of Keenan, that TV show that he made.
Yes. Aaron, can you spell the word Dextreme for me?
Dexterme.
Yes. Dexter me. This movie is a representation of Keenan and his evolution through Hollywood. Keenan is an inventor, an entrepreneur who's kind of tried to pave his own way and make his own products. The Keenan sitcom. Classically shown and advertised as him in a blue blazer. This movie, when he's showing off his Burn No More product, he's wearing that same blue blazer. And he's like, this is what I've worked all my time into. And his plan goes up in flames.
As that show does.
Yes, exactly. So he is he goes back to the past. He literally who can I call at a time like this? And who does he go to at his time of need but Ed Kell? And he seeks him out. He goes back to his roots of Good Burger. They make a new Good Burger. So Good Burger 2 is this kind of tale of Keenan's adventures. So I know what you're thinking. How does Megacorp figure into this? Megacorp, run by Kat Boswell, played by Jillian Bell, SNL writer Jillian Bell. SNL's whole thing was about taking that Keenan sitcom charm, that fresh boy Keenan, and packaging it to mass produce it out to everybody. In every corner of the world, we're gonna see the wrong, corrupted version of the Keenan and Kel product, the Good Burger film. And that is the thing that he fights this whole movie against. It's about him taking them down, seizing control of this, and the end of the movie feels that they have reclaimed ownership of this idea. of Kenan and Kel. That's why this movie is the first movie produced under Kenan's new movie production brand.
Oh.
It's called Artist for Artist.
Oh. Well, you know, like, Kenan and Kel both applied to SNL, I think on the same day.
They did.
I was listening to an interview, and it was like, somebody's talking to Kenan and Kel, and they're like, Kenan and Kel are there. And they're like, Kenan, you've been the longest running SNL member. 21 years in the history by a long shot. Like, do you ever see yourself leaving? And then there's Kel's just sitting there. And it's like, if I'm Kel, that's a horrifying thing. It's like, that's like your worst nightmare plays out. It's like he makes it and you don't. And this is almost Kenan being like, hey, like, this guy is a special kind of funny, and he's really funny, and this is his art form. It's being Ed and characters that are incredibly, like, just out there, but also funny because it's what he can do, and it makes people laugh. And that's art.
Yeah, get this. If Megacorp is SNL, and they're showing off, they're saying that we don't need Kel. Like, look, we can just make whatever Kel is doing here. He plays characters, sure. Like, this robot is him. They don't have robot Dexes going out there. They're just like, this is what we think of Ed, is basically what they say. We can sell Ed to everywhere in the world. Like, we don't need you, is kind of the vibe. You know, I doubt this was intentional, but to me, I'm reading this as like a real, just Kenan, like, has that ownership.
Yeah.
This is a story of Kenan's projects and over the years.
Yeah. I think there's a part of that that's true, and there's a part of it that's like, I don't know about the SNL being Megacorp thing, because I think Kenan actually likes working at SNL.
I do. It's definitely an
but it's also like he's become that guy who is really good at sketch comedy and loves, I mean, SNL's a fun time, right? It's like some really funny people and like amazing performers hanging out, and like just making good quality TV that makes people laugh, and it's really enjoyable. And he's stuck with it for a long time because, I mean, who knows all the reasons, but seems like part of it is that if he really didn't want to do it, he would leave.
Yeah, we've discussed this before.
He has agency in that, but at the same time, this idea of like mass producing comedy, that's what SNL does, right? And it's like this idea of mass producing. It's corporatizing art.
It's corporatizing art.
SNL isn't always pure comedy. It's a lot of like executives weighing in on like what's allowed to be said and what isn't.
The fact that he's producing this, he put a lot of his own money up front for this project. It's under it's like his flagship product for his production company, Artists for Artists. It really just kind of, to me, sends a message of Kenan's doing all kinds of movies now. He has a book out. When I Was Your Age, Life Lessons, Funny Stories. And
he's changing his brand, you know. He's like actually, and trying to help people too. Like,
this movie is a reflection of his brand.
I think you're right about saying like this is his artistic journey too, and it's very much like going back to like first principles, right? It's like The Good Burger was the sketch that made everybody famous, right? It's like reinventing it and saying, hey, guess what? Like, and I think things happen whether they're in your subconscious. Like you create what is in your subconscious, what is in your, like, what is what you want to express in the world. Both of those things are true, and like that's what you end up creating as an artist, whether you're like aware of it or not, but you just like it. You're like, this is what I need to do. I mean, sure, Kenan has like been very thoughtful about this, but you know, I've heard interviews of people who are like, come on, you don't want to make Good Burger 2, like Kel, like you don't really want to work with Kel again. And I'm just like, actually, no, I think the real Kenan loves Kel. And he wants to show the world that it's like, look, we had different paths. I got on SNL and like just had this career, and he didn't necessarily. But guess what? He's still funny for who he is and what he does. You know, and in Kel, I see like, you know, he really does seem like just his whole persona was built. He was a child star too. Like, don't forget, like child star syndrome did not escape Kel. Okay, he definitely seems like his confidence over time, over the past several years, has been shaken, and he's been trying to like find his identity and like where he fits in as a public figure that kind of had like a little bit of a fall from grace, fall from fame. He has he's a niche comedy, right? Like a mime does a niche, very niche thing. A mime cannot go on TV. He is a hilarious, funny, like in his own way, and we've watched all of him. Like we've watched every Kel piece. That chemistry of Keenan and Kel working together, I think that will bring out more of Kel, and that is what I'm really happy about, because Keenan didn't leave him behind. He's like, listen, we didn't always have the best time, like collaborative projects, but I see you and I will not leave you behind. Where other people are saying like, just who cares? It's show business. He's like, no, he's my brother.
I think to summarize a couple things that you're saying there is that I think Kel brings out the best in Keenan, and Keenan brings out the best.
I think that's true. I think it's always been true. I think
I think that's the end of the Keenan and Kel with Adam experiments, is that we've come to this conclusion. That they're better together, like peanut butter and chocolate.
Isn't it amazing though? It's like we started this and we're just trying to piece together this like show why we like the show, and it just so happens that while we're doing it, this project comes out, and then this book comes out, which I would love to review together. Because it's like it's so interesting to like, these are the guys we grew up with, and they're evolving and they're changing over time. I'm really happy for Kel. Like this is all. It's just awesome to see him like glowing. You know.
I'm happy for Kel. I'm happy for Keenan. I'm happy that they're able to kind of pull this successful film. It lacks the polish that we mentioned before, and but I think that polish is a function of time. And the more they work together, the better their content's going to be.
I would love, like, so I know Kel's really into like ministry and preaching kind of stuff. Like that's kind of like what his Instagram is. And, you know, I could see Kel and Keenan coming together and producing like a Blue's Clues style show of like lessons for kids. And it would would be good because Kel has a very like pure sense of humor that isn't like, it's very like ground level and like kids can understand it. He does have a certain charm about him, and again, like an artist they work in their own like lanes. I could see some really cool creative projects coming from them working together, and like getting away from a little bit of the like we're back thing, and it's like no, now what are we making together?
They are back now. What? That's the most important, the most exciting part of this. So specifically, when asked after this movie, do you guys have any intention of collaborating in the future? Keenan said 1,000,000%.
Yeah, and that's like,
which is why our show will never die.
Yeah, honestly, like it's cool. It's cool to watch. It's cool to see. And I'm glad we ended on this positive note instead of talking about corporatism and the representation of Megacorp and all the product placements that were so conveniently placed throughout this film.
Yeah, inconveniently placed, one might say. I get it. It's a shoestring budget. They need to get monies from somewhere, but it feels lame. No one likes it.
Yeah, I think, again, like I hope that they are successful. I would love, like, they do a great. I think one of the greatest things that could happen is when somebody who makes it goes back and pulls other people with them. I don't think it's a sign of weakness. I think it's a beautiful thing about show business. It's a beautiful thing about life. It's like we need to look out for each other. And guess what? The reason Keenan made it is because Kel was there. Mm-hmm. Keenan could not have had the success that he's had without Kel. Like, period. He would not have been. It wouldn't have worked. Kel and Keenan working together propelled Keenan's career into success, and now he's like
he's giving it back.
I think so. I think so.
In a good way.
In a way that's right, and it's in the right time. It wasn't rushed before. If it would happen too early, it would have been rushed, and now it's like actually organic. And yeah, Kel's got it. He's got it. He's coming back.
Aaron, out of 10 bottles of orange soda, how many would you give Good Burger 2?
I am going to give it a 7.
7 was also my number.
I'm going to give it a 7 because I'm a fan.
I think we both gave the first one an 8 because I think there's a little bit more nostalgia on that, but I think a 7 is a fair rating for
7 is my rating.
And that is it for Good Burger 2, and that is it for Keenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron, the main series.
Oh, Adam, now I'm going to get sad.
Oh yeah, it's okay. Things happen. We this is our 100th episode of this program, and we did it for pretty solidly across 3 years. We've covered a lot of stuff, but there's also still I talked to Aaron about maybe 10 other episodes or so that that are possible
that we can produce over the course of time.
The big one I wanted to announce was that sometime towards the end of next year, I'd like to meet up in 1 year's time and do redoing things the Hemingway.
Right.
Yeah, and we should have our resolutions, our life goals.
Yes.
Like Keenan and Kel.
We should have another episode where we make those soon.
Yeah, maybe at the top of the year.
Yeah.
So our goal is to loosely try to keep the ones a month, but we're not going to stand too strong doing that.
It seems like this was the organic kind of conclusion of our series. However, just like Keenan and Kel came back, if there's Keenan and Kel content, we're going to review it. And I like the idea of continuing to do a couple of these episodes just to keep this show, which really it started all this. I mean, the Keenan and Kel is the thing that continued this.
We did it. We brought it back. You're welcome.
Isn't it crazy that we did this?
Yeah, Aaron, do you remember the way back when we would watch certain shows, animated shows together? You remember Transformers Armada?
I love Transformers Armada, of course.
There's a line at the end of the movie. It's like it's an evil line, but it's Unicron says in a voiceover, "Wherever there is peace in the universe, I will be alive." I feel that that's true to our podcast about Keenan and Kel. Wherever there is Keenan and Kel in the universe, our show will still be alive.
Absolutely. Adam, I just have to say I'm so glad that you have you inspired this project. You were serious about it when you suggested it back in 2019, and then during the pandemic. This show would not have happened without you, making sure that we set our dates and did our recordings and edited and published and shared on Twitter when I basically took a back seat for all of that. There were many episodes that I showed up completely unprepared, and you just you carried the torch. But I'm really glad that we did this. It's been such a. This is my most successful creative project. It's really hard to keep projects going, but when you really helped make this possible and gave me a sense of what is possible.
Well, I did it all to have a wonderful podcast with my brother. I did it for the Fantas out there, everyone that's ever loved Keenan and Kel and wish there was more content online about it. You're welcome. And I did it for all the creatives and people that's kind of inspired this project for all the years that I have enjoyed it myself, so I could help other people enjoy this show and movies too. So, Aaron, are you ready to say a kind of a last farewell here? Or not a farewell, a see you later for Keenan and Kel.
We do have some interviews lined up, and we do have some other episodes in the future.
I just got a hold of one of the the VFX producers for the Good Burger 2.
Nice.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Oh my gosh, I want to talk about the fisheye.
Yeah. And other stuff like that. There's an extra or two that's on my radar. And Kevin Heath promised to talk to us again. Who knows? We'll see where we go from here.
This is a see you later
from Adam
and Aaron. Until next time, everybody.
Oh,
here it goes. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Keenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. If you want to stay in touch, send us an email at KeenanKelPodcast@gmail.com. Our social media accounts are all at KeenanKelPodcast. Thanks, everybody.